Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, your movie apprentice, and I want you to talk to me. Because yes, today I am looking at the new Australian horror movie, Talk to Me, directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, and starring Sophie Wilde in the lead role. Talk to Me follows a group of kids who start playing with this hand, where you light the candle to open the gate, you hold the hand and say, "Talk to me," and allow spirits to possess your body briefly, giving you quite the sweet high. But what happens when you forget to blow out the candle? These kids are about to find out in a big way. Now, to start off with, I'm going to have to say that this is a film that the trailer doesn't do it justice. It really does not. The trailer looks rather generic and seems to be another generic kids being stupid and getting ghosts possessing them kind of movie. This is not that. There is a lot in this film that teases going down the stereotypical routes and going down the familiar plot points. But every time it goes towards those points, it always takes a hard left and goes in a completely different direction that you are not expecting. Talk to Me is hands down one of the most unique horror movies I have seen in quite a few years, because not only does it not rely on jump scares, but if anything, the horror really comes from the psychological effects of the hand and seeing the spirits rather than the spirits themselves. If anything, these spirits are very much trapped and they be summoned against their will to this hand to communicate with others. This film is obviously an anti-drug message as well. The fact that these kids are abusing this hand and using the high to just really enjoy themselves. And there's the moral quandary of passing it off to the younger kids at these parties for them to try it, and the negative effects that take place if someone becomes too addicted to using it and sending them down the spiral. It's got a great metaphor for anti-drug use at parties. This film is heavily carried by Sophie Wilde, who plays the main role in this, and she does a fantastic job. All the cast in this do a really good job. All the performances are very physical. When your body is possessed by this hand and by these spirits that you are letting into your body, the performances are extremely physical, and some of the things that some of the actors do in this absolutely blows my mind. The fact that they were willing to do this to really tell this story. You can tell everyone involved really believed in telling this nice little horror movie. If I'd say I had complaints about this movie, it's too short. Like, the film ends, and similar to Spirited Away, the film ends. I could have watched another half hour to 40 minutes of this movie. The ending is sudden, it is abrupt, but it does leave you with that punch to the gut. I was in an unlimited screening for this, and some of the audible reactions I heard of just shock and awe really blew me away. It was nice to see the cinema come together to experience this small independent film that is a lot better than the trailer would give you any idea. Like, this whole concept of a hand that you hold onto that opens a gate to the paranormal world, it just seems like a weird MacGuffin to replace a crystal ball or a Ouija board. It's just this whole new concept. But I love that a lot of the things in this are not really explained. There are many times in horror movies where you get the exposition, you get the answers handed to you, but this film does not do that. In fact, it goes against the grain on this. It avoids any stereotypical plot threads you would see in a horror movie. It avoids answering every question, but doesn't leave you feeling cheated because you don't learn about things. We never learn where this hand comes from, but more of what the effects are and the trail of destruction that it can leave behind it. There is an absolutely hard to watch scene that really just hits you. I will say one underrated concept of horror movies is sound design, and the sound design in this is brutal. Every hit, every sound of gore, every squish, every thud, you feel it revolve right inside your body, and it is really effective for that. Like, this film keeps you interested for the first 20 or so minutes, but once we get to that inciting incident that really gets the ball rolling, it grabs you. It grabs you and forces you to watch it, and it is a ride from start to finish. Definitely worth checking out if you're into horror movies. This film has been a very good year for movies this year, but it has lacked that really good horror movie that really grabs me. The closest was Evil Dead Rise, but even that didn't quite reach the levels of some horrors in recent years. This is that first horror movie that has really set a standard for horror movies to follow this year. Before I get into my grade, if you do like what you're seeing on the channel, you made it this far, let me know what your favourite horror movie of the year is so far, and click that like button, subscribe and hit that bell notification for more movie reviews like this coming all the time. But without further ado, let's grade this. So Talk to Me is a movie that I didn't have many expectations for, and the fact that this film exceeded even the most minute expectations really shows that there was a lot of care and love put into this. The physical performances and the sound design really work well, and the way this story just feels unique. It teases going down a familiar route, but never commits to going down the familiar routes, and goes in alternate directions and leads to some of the best visuals and best sequences I have seen in a small independent horror movie for quite some time. I will say that there are some bits that will make the squeamish really squeamish. So I will say, if you are extremely squeamish to seeing young people in peril, or the wet sound of blood and bodies and skulls being caved in, then that might detract you. And I will say again that the film does kind of end with a bang, but it feels like I could have watched 20 or 30 more minutes of this movie. I don't feel like that's something I need to really say as a negative, but I would have loved to have seen a lot more of this premise, but the film never overstays its welcome, and for that I can appreciate it. I'm going to have to say that Talk to Me, for me, is a great cup of tea. So Talk to Me, have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. Again, you made it to the end of the video, then comment down below the words Talk to Me so I know you made it to the end. Click the like button, notifications, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on socials as well. Until next time, everybody, my name is Josh. I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you all in the next video.